Before we start, I want to mention, since it is a little bit of a history lesson, that tomorrow is the 157th anniversary of the Gettysburg Address, which I did not know until I looked at it, or until I checked my information for the day. But again, the theme of today's Memory Cafe is thankfulness and gratitude. And I have chosen quotations by Eleanor Roosevelt and other well-known figures that I hope will inspire us to think about what we have to be grateful for and for whom we are thankful. I would encourage you all to take time at the end to write a note or card thanking someone. It can be for something they have done for you, for your community, country, or world. I would encourage you to find an address so that you can mail it to them, thus completing the act of gratitude by sharing it with that person. Completing the cycle of that gratitude can make a difference not only in that person's day, but yours also. Eleanor Roosevelt was the First Lady from 1933 to 1945 and was the wife of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd president. She was, in her time, one of the world's most widely admired and powerful women. Beginning in 1936, she wrote a daily syndicated newspaper column, My Day. After President Roosevelt's death in 1945, President Harry S. Truman appointed Eleanor a delegate to the United Nations, where she served as chairman of the Commission on Human Rights. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy appointed her chair of his Commission on the Status of Women. She continued to write books and articles, and the last of her My Day columns appeared just weeks before her death in 1962. I will be reading from several of her columns that touch on the things that she was thankful for as we look at slides with statements that she and others have made on our topic. At the end, we will review the slides and the statements on them. Then we will have time for you to share something for which you are thankful if you wish to do so. My Day by Eleanor Roosevelt, November 24th, 1949. New York, Thursday. Today is Thanksgiving Day, and like so many other people in the United States, I will be looking back over the year and counting over in my mind the things for which I am most thankful in this year of 1949. For my country, I am grateful that the United Nations still holds the peoples of the world together and that we are still working for peace with the other nations of the world. Next, I think I am grateful for the fact that there seems to be among us an ever-growing understanding of the responsibilities carried by the citizens in a democracy. It seemed to me that the results of our last elections showed in many places careful thinking and discriminating voting on the part of the people. The people of a democracy can only control their own government if they take an active part in the formation of policies through the development of public opinion and the election of people to office who truly represent them. Education for citizenship in a democracy takes time, but I feel, as my husband did, that one of the great strengths of our country lies in the willingness of our citizens to participate in the responsibilities inherent in life in a democracy. On the personal side of the ledger, I am thankful for continued good health. I am thankful too for the opportunities to build friendship and affection in a widening circle of family and friends. There has been sadness in the last year, but there also has been much joy and laughter. Like thousands of others in this great country of ours, I will think of the early Pilgrim Fathers and their celebration of the first Thanksgiving Day. How dark the future must have seemed, how precarious. There are anxieties today, but certainly as we look back over the accomplishments in our history, we must be of good cheer and say our Thanksgiving prayer with deep and heartfelt gratitude. We can, I think, approach the coming year with courage. We are a very big family now in comparison with the little one of that first Thanksgiving Day. I heard a wise psychiatrist say the other day that he wished the parents of the children who came to see him would stop inspiring them with fear and give them a little more sense of the good things that prepare us to meet dangers and adventures with confidence and with hope. Many people suffer more in anticipation than they do under the actual blows of misfortune that fall upon them. Though I believe that we should face our problems, our own shortcomings, and our own weaknesses, I think it is even more important for us to recognize our achievements, the strides that we have made in many directions, and the growth of the mind and spirit, which has permitted us to be a part of a second world organization striving to achieve the longings of the human heart for brotherhood among men. May the good Lord look down upon us and the world that we know, and think us worthy of his blessing on this Thanksgiving Day. Eleanor Roosevelt. From her 1941 column, there is so much for which we in the United States can be thankful. We should join together and say our prayers of thanks with very full hearts. As we look at the rest of the world, we may be thankful that we have been spared the sorrows and the hardships which have come to so many men, women, and children. True, our own lives have been greatly changed, and some people in this country have suffered losses and are in deep sorrow because some young life has come to an end, either in service training or in actual service work. I like some lines which a friend of mine has sent me. Work for peace, do your part. Crush that evil which is set up to destroy our culture and the Bill of Rights. Thank our forefathers for their stamina and their vision. Realize that we hold the torch of tolerance for freedom and for peace. From her column in 1940. Next in our category of national thanks, I think, comes the knowledge that as a nation, we are growing steadily in the understanding of what democracy means to us. We are free to register our will politically, to worship God as we see fit, to insist that even those with whom we disagree should have the right to express their opinions, and that all men shall come before the bar of justice with the presumption that they are innocent until they are proved guilty, and with the right to defend their beliefs and their actions. We are thankful for our natural resources, for the productivity of our land, for the resourcefulness and ingenuity of our people, for their character and their courage, which gives to our leaders the courage to look ahead and visualize a brighter day in the future. As an individual, I am grateful for health and strength, the love of family and friends, for the power to enjoy so many things, for the ability to see the humor in life which softens the bitterness, and above all else, for the ability and the opportunity to give a helping hand in one way or another to some of those who need it temporarily. I can easily forgive my enemies, for I so greatly value my friends. And on this Thanksgiving Day, my wish for all of you who read this column is that life may give you a chance to be grateful for what you receive because you love the giver, and that you may have the joy of giving of yourself to those whom you may love. Eleanor Roosevelt. In 1942, she shared this: I can think of 1,000 things in the past for which I am deeply thankful, but it is for the future really that I am the most grateful. For the chance to try again to build a decent world, for the young people who are so much better educated in world affairs than we were 20-odd years ago, and who have high hopes and visions, but who stand foursquare and face the realities of life. I am grateful for the fact that my country is made up of many peoples, that I have an opportunity to show that I really believe that all men are created equal, and that the last commandment, love thy neighbor as thyself, really means what it says. For the fact that my boys are still alive, that other boys whom I love have not yet fallen on any field of battle, for my husband's strength and for his belief in God. For all these things, dear God, I am most humbly grateful. Eleanor Roosevelt. And in 1957, she wrote, in this particular year, I hope we will all give thanks for health and strength, for friends and the preservation of loved ones around us, for the memories of good things that we cherish, and for the memories of all things from whom, which we have learned. Since wisdom comes to us from experiences that are not always pleasant. I believe that we face a crisis in this country today, which requires of us as a people courage, knowledge, imagination, and vision. Courage, because no crisis can ever be met if our judgment is clouded by fear. Knowledge, because one can make no plans to meet a crisis unless he is given information and fully understands the situation before him. Imagination, because without imagination, we will never gain understanding of other conditions and of other peoples. We cannot experience what all other nations and peoples have been through, but if we have imagination, we can gain some measure of understanding, which will give us sympathy and perception. Vision, because without vision, people perish. Vision means having an objective for the whole of life, personally and as a nation. And today in the US, our vision must encompass the whole world, since we are the leaders of the free world. Whatever plans we make must be made with our objectives in view, but kept sufficiently flexible to meet the unexpected as it comes up along. Potential courage, knowledge, imagination, and vision are in our people, for they have had it in the past, and they will certainly have it again if only their leaders will trust them, tell them the truth, and draw from them the qualities that are needed to meet the crisis and the problems of the day. So I'd like to just take a moment to go back over those slides, read them off, so that we can think about what they have to say. From Eleanor Roosevelt, understanding is a two-way street. Gratitude is the fairest blossom from which springs the soul. Henry Ward Beecher. Eleanor Roosevelt, it is not fair to ask of others what you are not willing to do yourself. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. John F. Kennedy. The giving of love is an education in itself. Eleanor Roosevelt. Gratitude is riches. Complaint is poverty. Doris Day. From Eleanor Roosevelt. It is not more vacation we need, it is more vocation. Let us be grateful to people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. Marcel Proust. Happiness is not a goal, it is a byproduct. Eleanor Roosevelt. Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never have enough. Oprah Winfrey. And from Eleanor Roosevelt, only a man's character is a real criterion of worth. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us. Albert Schweitzer. Again from Eleanor Roosevelt. It takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. And finally, perhaps nature is our best assurance of immortality, from Eleanor Roosevelt. And the last is by one of my favorite authors, G.K. Chesterton. I would maintain that thanks are the highest form of thought, and that gratitude is happiness, doubled by wonder. Thanksgiving is a holiday dedicated to the focus of being thankful. This time of year can give us that warm, fuzzy feeling when we spend time feeling thankful for the things our lives include. The Oxford Dictionary defines the word thankful as pleased and relieved. Both of those are great feelings. Everyone wants to be pleased and relieved, but that's just it. They're just feelings, and feelings fade. The Oxford Dictionary defines the word grateful as showing an appreciation of kindness. This is where the difference lies. Being thankful is a feeling, and being grateful is an action. And I invite you now to take the time that I mentioned at the beginning of this program and follow through with that action of gratitude by writing a note and putting it in the mail or handing it to that person that you are thankful for today. And I would like to open the floor to those that are with me and would like to share what they may be thankful or grateful for.
Well, I am thankful that you have reminded me to be thankful in 2020 because it's been a very strange year for everybody. In that, I am very thankful for my health and the health of my family and friends.
Well, I'm thankful, of course, always for my family, for my children, my grandchildren, my children-in-law, and the family that I grew up in. I am thankful for health. I am thankful also for some of the difficult things that we've experienced. I am eager, of course, to have COVID contained. But in the meantime, there are pieces of resilience that we can see within ourselves and among ourselves. And that is gratifying to me and provides hope in the human race. I gain a lot of information from nature, a lot of understanding from nature. And I'm glad that the world has continued on despite COVID. The birds don't worry about it. The deer don't worry about it. They're not susceptible. The bear, now that I've changed my address, I've become acquainted with a bear or two even up here. So I think I like the idea of being grateful in all things and finding the bright spot even in the darkness.
One of the things that I found very interesting in reading through Eleanor Roosevelt's columns, and I did just focus on her Thanksgiving columns so that it would be specific to the time that we're in right now. 2 weeks from, or 1 week from tomorrow is Thanksgiving Day. But it was so surprising to me that what she had to say 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago is so relevant to today. There were so many things that I read and I thought, oh my gosh, that's exactly what we've just been through, or that we're going through, or, you know, those are the feelings that we have been working with. And of course, since her columns were written, you know, shortly after elections, as we are right now, you know, just the responses to the, you know, so many people in the country taking the time to vote and taking the time to take advantage of the fact that they are able to vote. And so many people that, you know, may have not been able to vote before, were, for whatever reason, were taking the time and the opportunity to vote in the election. And how the people of the country have to be able to make their voices heard to those that they have elected, and that the people who've been elected need to pay attention to what the people are saying to them. You know, just, it was all so relevant, and it was surprising to me because I never have known much about Eleanor Roosevelt. I knew that she, you know, was an important figure, but it was really fun reading through her things. And I would love to just write a note to her and say, thank you for all this wisdom that you've shared over so many decades. And even though she wouldn't get it and read it. But, you know, it's also interesting to think about who do we have in our present day that is being, you know, wise like this, and you know, maybe taking a time to send a letter of thanks to someone in the national eye and say thank you for, you know, being strong, or thank you for thinking of the people before you think of, you know, the politics or the impact that this may have on you personally. It's very surprising to me. But I have been trying really hard over the last couple of months to take time, if I stop and think about someone, to take time to write them a note, whether it's through an email or to actually handwrite a card and put it in the mail. And I remember my mom used to say that if she dreamed about somebody that she hadn't thought about in a while, she felt that meant that she was meant to write that person a note. And I often would get notes from her saying, well, I had a dream about you last night, so I thought I'd write you a note. Our December program will be the second Wednesday of December. And we will have a pre-recorded program done, musical program, and this will be done by, there will be some pieces by the chorale of the Missoula Community Chorus, and then we will have additional music by the Missoula Community Chorus manager, who is a pianist and vocalist, and we will be doing some holiday music. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that will be a lot of fun for all of us.
Yeah, that's going to be great fun. Hey, thanks, Marge. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah,